Well, I've just travelled down to one of my favourite little patches of woodland here in North Wales this morning. It's more of a sort of little pond area. I think I've featured it on a few of the videos. And it's not what I expected, it's actually a bit more overgrown. But then again, I haven't been here in the middle of summer, so yeah, quite a bit of a challenge this morning, I think. I've got a nice bit of light coming in. It's only about 10 minutes after sunrise. It is very, very early. But it's very diffused this morning by the overhead cloud, so it's beautiful and soft. And I have some little grasses growing in the water and a very soft background of trees. Not really too much contrast in there. I'm going to shoot this at 2 seconds, first without the yellow filter, and then I think I'll do one at 4 seconds with the yellow filter. Now, slightly differently today, I've only brought 2 lenses for the Bronica. I've brought the 150mm as usual. I wouldn't be without the 150, but I've also brought the 65mm. Now the 65mm is equivalent to 35mm in full frame terms, and is not one I'd usually carry. I rarely use it, but I'm using it in between the sort of 28 and 50mm focal length, so it's that sort of mid-ground. Just means I've got to carry 2 lenses. It just simplifies the whole decisions around composition, which lenses to use, etc. Just a bit about simplification of the kit, really, sort of less is more approach again. Right, I've just come across some beautiful backlit trees. I have actually shot these before a few years ago. I'll pop a picture up now. It was colour. Obviously shooting in black and white today, but it's XP2 by the way. I've got the 150mm on, and I'm going for f11. Now f11 is not going to hold the entire front to back in total sharpness because of the way the branches are in and out of the scene. But I don't want to go any smaller with my aperture because I don't want the background, which is lovely trees in the distance, becoming too sharp. The small amount of trees showing through the foliage here, I want them to stay soft, so f11 is going to give me a good compromise. Now, one of the things about using fewer lenses or less equipment in general is it does make you focus more on the actual image making process. I find typically it's more difficult, obviously, to get the exact composition you might like, but what it does make you do is think very much in terms of simplification of the image. I've only got the equivalent of a 35 and an 85mm lens with me today. That's very, very basic. I can't do tightly cropped telephotos, I can't do the wide shots, so I'm looking for the more natural image, the more simple, straightforward image, the sort of way your eye would typically see things. There's nothing exaggerated or dramatic about it. Now, I'm always making the point about shooting things when you see them because there's a possibility they won't be there in the future. Well, this is a good example behind me. Now, last December I was shooting a roll of Fuji's 400H colour film here, and I got a beautiful composition of 2 trees arching together. Well, they've chopped one of them down, so that shot's never going to happen again. Such a shame too, because I would have loved to have got it in black and white one day, but the landscape is constantly changing and you've got to shoot it while you can and make the most of it. Well, whilst walking back along the side of this little pond here, I've just been following the path, and there's a beautiful set of trees, 3 trees, which are arranged in such a way that they complement each other. They're sort of spreading out, sort of diverging. And what I like about them most is on the nearest tree there are some ferns growing, which are bright green. It's quite a dull scene. I'm actually going to shoot this at 8 seconds now at f/16, and I am focusing on the first tree. The others may go slightly soft. I'm not worried about that because the focus is the first tree, and the path then follows, takes your eye hopefully through the scene. But yeah, it's simple, but I think quite effective. So let's just take this one at 8 seconds. There we go. Now that 8 seconds is going to give plenty of exposure for this dark tree trunk in the foreground and also the trees going back. I don't want a dark image here. I'm really looking for something very light and airy and open. Well, with the light becoming increasingly harsh, and I think I've got what I wanted this morning. Nothing spectacular, very pleasant morning though. Really enjoyed the simple kit as well. I don't think I missed out by not having a 28 or a 50mm equivalent. I think I got the shots I wanted. I think I had the right focal lengths. Not saying it'd suit every possible occasion. There'll be times when I will miss those focal lengths, but let's pursue this a bit longer and see how we get on. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.